Everybody wants the perfect tech stack. What most teams actually end up with is a Frankenstein built during moments of urgency, budget pressure, and optimism that integration will magically fix everything later. Well, later is now. Restaurant brands are sitting on stacks that grew faster than the org chart. Tools were added to solve immediate pain. Nobody stepped back to ask if these systems actually belong together long term. I mean, it was the pandemic. We were scrambling. That's the real issue. Do they belong together? So let's talk about the two extremes that most leaders get trapped in. First extreme is the all-in-one promise, which sounds comforting. One vendor, one login, one contract, one throat to choke, as they say. On paper, it feels responsible, but in practice, it actually hardens pretty fast. You get locked into staggering contracts that force you to wait years before real change is possible. Migration becomes a full-blown operational event. Training eats calendar and morale. And the platform almost always delivers competence across many features while excelling at very few. That may work early, but it rarely fuels advantage at scale. On the other side, you have best-in-class build, where smart tools, smart teams, lots of logos, everything's been curated, innovation everywhere, and suddenly that monthly SaaS line item looks very much like a CVS receipt. Integrations work until they don't. Overlapping features quietly duplicate spend, logins multiply, accountability gets fuzzy, teams start pointing fingers at partners at other partners instead of solving the problems, and velocity slows without anyone touching the brakes. Neither path is necessarily broken, but both become fragile if they're just followed blindly. The move now is intentional consolidation. It's time to start consolidating where systems actually share DNA. Data should flow naturally, workflows should reinforce each other. If two platforms exist only because they both technically can, one of them is already on borrowed time. Curate where innovation creates leverage. Keep the tools that give you the real edge, the ones competitors cannot easily replicate, the ones that change how decisions get made, not just how reports. This only works when you factor in team size and operational maturity. A lean team cannot carry a complex stack, no matter how powerful it looks on a slide, no matter what other brands are using it. It just doesn't work because complexity demands ownership and ownership demands team capacity. We are currently in a convergence era. Tech stacks and martech stacks are colliding. Data wants to live in one story, not 6 dashboards. The pandemic forced speed and improvisation, but that chapter's over. Sustainable scale requires reconsideration, not accumulation. Here's the gut check I leave leaders with. Every tool in your stack should earn its seat every single day. If it does not make your team faster, clearer, or more confident in their decisions, it's not helping. It's hiding things. Action steps you can take this quarter: map your stack by function and by dependency. Look for true symbiosis, not vendor bundles. Identify where differentiation actually comes from and protect those tools. Audit logins and workflows with your operators, not just IT. Align contracts to strategy, not convenience. Design the stack your current team can win with, not the one your future org might support. The goal is not necessarily fewer tools. The goal is fewer friction points. That's how brands scale without losing their grip. This is a really critical time in the industry, and I think we're going to see a lot of intelligent, intentional convergence on stacks. That doesn't mean everything being crammed into one. That doesn't mean everything breaking apart into a litany of partners. It means being very smart about where you converge and consolidate and where you open up the door to innovation with new partners that have something truly unique. That's what's going to separate, I think, the winners from the losers in this next era of technology in the restaurant industry. But of course, this is one man's opinion. I would love to know yours. So please add it in the comments. And if you get a chance, like, subscribe, share, and do all the things on YouTube or Spotify, because it actually helps us out a lot. So I really appreciate it in advance. Until next time, cheers.